Hi, today we're going to have a look at mediums that we can use for glazing techniques. Now we have a lot of mediums that we can use for that sort of thing, and today we're going to have a look at the water-fast products that we can use for glazing techniques. We've got 8 of them today, so let's get started. Okay, so our first one up is gel medium. It's MM4. Now when we apply this, it'll keep your thick brush strokes, or you could actually apply that with a palette knife if you wanted. So we can see here that it still dries nice and transparent, even though that in the jar, if we have a look, it's quite white. Our next glazing technique is with MM30. This gel medium has a matte finish, so it's similar to the other gel medium, but it dries with a flat surface. So again, we can see the texture through the paint, and we can see that it's white, but it does dry clear. So we can see the layers through them. And again, we could have applied this with a palette knife. So that's MM30. If we have a look at them side by side, can you see how shiny this is and how flat this is? So both give us a similar surface texture, but give us a completely different gloss finish. So one is gloss, one is matte. So in this example, we've used MM5, matte medium. Now we've used it as a glaze here, and what we've done is just add a tiny bit of pigment to it, and you'll see that it holds the pigment colour, but it dries with this very flat finish. And again, we can still see the translucency of this. Now, this was done yellow, then blue, then red, but it's very hard to pick up again whether the yellow or the blue was done first, or whether the red or the blue was done here. And I quite like that finish. So give it a go. MM5, matte medium. Remember, this will dry with a flat finish. So not only can we use polymer varnish as a varnish for our finished paintings, we can also use those for glazing techniques. And our 3 polymer varnishes are MM6 polymer matte varnish, MM28 polymer satin varnish, and MM7 polymer gloss. And as the names might suggest, the gloss dries with a nice gloss finish, the satin dries with a flatter sort of finish, and the matte dries with a very non-reflective finish. So if we have a look again, the gloss finish here, a satin finish, and then a matte finish. So don't forget, these can also be used for your glazing techniques. So another really cool medium for glazing is MM20, water-based patina. And I particularly like this because of its quite thin and runny consistency. So it's best used if you pour it out more or less onto a plate with a side lip, so we can puddle it and add the paint into that puddle. When we paint with this, you can see that the pigment is dispersed very evenly through it, but it will puddle because of the thinness of the layers. Now, this has been painted yellow, then blue, then red, but over here it's hard to tell which was put on first and which was put on last. The red was the last to be added, but it's very difficult to tell, and I quite like that. It's really cool. In this example, we've used MM9, acrylic painting medium. Now, acrylic painting medium essentially is a binder. Now, binder is what holds the paint together. So, if we're used to adding a lot of water to our paint, if we add too much water, say above 30%, that may render our work water sensitive. So to overcome that problem, we can use acrylic painting medium, and we can use it as we have here, as a glazing technique. And so, there we have it. There's 8 of our mediums, each used in a glazing technique. And each one of them has a slightly different feel to it, and has a slightly different finish. And I reckon the best thing for you to do now is have a little experiment for yourself, and just see which ones you like. Thanks for watching that, and happy painting.